Hey, Geraldo. What's your perspective on what we watched today?
Well, it's fascinating. I love South Africa, the country, having visited it several times. It's a beautiful place. It is one of the best run, or has been historically, best run governments in the African continent. Lately, what you just saw, to me, was another ambush. It was, like the Zelensky ambush in the Oval Office. The president invited Ramaphosa, the South African president, to the Oval Office for this meeting that the South Africans clearly thought was going to be about trade. And then, pow, the president hits him with all this graphic evidence of violence against white Afrikaner farmers. Just a 30 seconds or 15 seconds on history. South Africa, the modern South Africa, was formed by these Dutch, English settlers, became Afrikaner. They became African, basically, even though they were white. Obviously a minority as the nation evolved and as the continent evolved. So Trump has, a very protective feeling toward this minority Afrikaner group in South Africa, and he was very critical of the South African president for several reasons, not just the fact that, I should say that Trump also invited, he stopped refugees from all over the world from coming, except white Afrikaners. They are welcome. 59 of them have come. So there's a couple of things. So there's the anti-white racism, and there's also the foreign policy of this group, this post-Mandela South African government. They have a very strong anti-Israel policy. They're very pro-Hamas, very pro-Iran in their foreign policy. So South Africa, which used to be the darling of the United States, has now become, one of the most radical countries. And Trump clearly was waiting for Ramaphosa to step into the Oval Office, and pow, he hit him with, these charges, graphic illustrations of white Afrikaners, farmers being a genocide, he called it, which is a very, very strong word.
It is obviously a very strong word. I was thinking, that issue that you brought up, South Africa's relation with other countries, its relationship, even to your point, with Hamas, would be a larger part, possibly, of a conversation. Who knows? Maybe it was behind closed doors. But Trump clearly wanted to focus on this issue. Now, we were looking just at the numbers objectively on the issues, and there's no doubt South Africa has a crime problem and even a murder problem. But to the point that was made in the Oval Office by many of the people who were there, that goes across the board. I mean, yeah, maybe some of these farmers, many of them have been targeted, but percentage-wise, the murders of those farmers are probably maybe 1% or so of all the murders happening in South Africa. It's a much larger problem, it seems, than that.
It does seem, to me, I mean, if the statistics are correct, that there is not a genocide against white Afrikaner, at least not in the extent that we know the statistics. There's no doubt that there is hostility, no doubt that there are political parties, black political parties, that are anti-Afrikaner in a very vehement way, maybe even a violent way. My point is that if that's going to be the discussion, why not tell your colleague, your fellow president who's coming in for this meeting, all right, we got to talk about racism, we got to talk about Hamas and Iran, here's the agenda, not come in and get hit with a pornographic movie of everything horrible in terms of white racism. It is a unique historic story. It is clear, they're the minority, but they're the minority that's been there for 500 years. It is fascinating to see post-Nelson Mandela, who was the god of liberalism worldwide, who helped moderate so many policies in so many countries and was a beacon of hope for so many. But he's long gone. Rest in peace. What you have is these fellows who have replaced him, and some of these policies do sound to the ear to be very racist, frankly. Kind of reverse racism that's deplorable. But It just seems to me that Trump specializes in the protocol of ambush, and I don't think that that is necessarily appropriate.
Do you think it's a fair comparison? It was brought up in the Oval Office. The president clearly doesn't, because he snapped back at the question. But you talked earlier about the refugees who are not being accepted into the country where this group is. For example, there's a number of, the Afghan refugee program was suspended, and as people have pointed out, it was pointed out in a question to the president today, the number of these people that helped as interpreters and other things, U.S. service members during the war in Afghanistan, and the argument was, if they're not being allowed in, why are these people being allowed in? Do you think that's a fair question for the president?
I think it is a very fair question, and I'll even go so far as to say it's a clear play to some segment of his base that says, "Hey, listen, I'm for the white guys also. Besides for my my fabulousness generally, I'm also the watchdog taking care of white minorities around the world." So I understand where he's coming from. He mentioned some of the great golfers from South Africa.
Right, Bernie Els and all them. Yep.
Gary Player.
Yep.
And so forth. It's one of those things. It's Trump being Trump. There's good. I believe that it's good that if there is a menace to Afrikaners whose families have been there for centuries. I'm glad that Trump's pointing it out. I'm glad that he's busting South Africa's chops for bringing Israel to the International Court of Justice at The Hague. But it is as we just watch his performance. Earlier he had the Florida Gators. Yeah, he won the NCAA. He is such an artist. He's such a performer, Trump. He made everybody in that room feel good. He made everybody feel that they were special, and this was really something that he'd been looking forward to. And he called out the players, and he named them, and he jibed with the coach.
They have a kid on the team. He didn't play this year. They have a kid who's 7'9". He was a red shirt. He didn't play. I think he was there, and I was waiting for Trump to look. Oh my God, how tall are you? But he did. The kid's 7 because his son's 6'9".
Well, he did mention his son.
Yeah, he's 6'9".
His son Barron is 6'9".
This kid's 7'9". All right, Geraldo.
That's a midget
compared to this guy. Oh, you're the best. All right, always great, my friend Geraldo Rivera.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.